shift. All of that back there was complete. Done. Graduate.
Graduate. That's a good way to put it. Graduate. I like that. Growth.
Now,
one of the most painful
you got
things.
everything that you're supposed to have right now.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
butterfly.
Yeah.
You a butterfly? All right, butterfly. Break open out of the chrysalis and do what you do, fly.
And then we think it's over. Because that's the only, the weird part about it is, ancient Egyptians used to study nature for thousands and thousands of years. Mm-hmm. Now we study it for a small, our sciences existed maybe 300-400 years. So we think about the cocoon, the caterpillar and the butterfly. There's probably like 10 more states of existence for that, for that single creature that we have no clue even because of our small, and this is what I'm saying, like a lot of conflict is caused because of a small perspective. Like, perfect example, this would be Donald Trump, right? He has a very small perspective. And one of the reasons why he's considered so ignorant is because he doesn't see the greater picture. Maybe he does see it from a certain perspective. But even if he does see it from that perspective, it's the smallest ethnically perspective. You understand? It's the smallest ethnic perspective that exists in the globe. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's still a small perspective. If I'm for the white Aryan nation, that's a very small perspective, and it really actually doesn't even exist. It's a made-up figment of their imagination. But that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's a completely different conversation. But what I'm talking about is just perspective, seeing the bigger picture, and how do you see the bigger picture? This is where the compassion and the empathy comes in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like when you talk about I said I was in an abusive relationship, I was dictatorial. But that doesn't mean that you're listening because I'm feeling that this person's perspective is not going to help to the problem. Nah, irregardless if that's the truth or not. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter means that empathy and compassion allows that voice to be heard at the table, irregardless of what you think is going to be said.
Right.
I need to hear what you have to say. It's important. Right. Your voice is important.
Right.
Giving, credence to that voice. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that is the learning aspect. That is the experience aspect of learning. But this is what doesn't get brought into the conversation when we have these large political conversations. Mm-hmm. That same compassion that a person's supposed to have for their wife or their spouse. Mm-hmm. We don't feel that that's the kind of compassion that exists for the impoverished classes or the people, right. The lower classes of these communities. Right. When we allow this rampant gentrification to go on, and you literally mortgage the future of children to build buildings like LCA. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like literally, this is like we would sacrifice the children of Detroit so that we can re-gentrify this for white people.
Are you not entertained?
Who don't live here. I'm sorry, but
don't apologize for this stuff, man. Like
making great sense. I mean, I some of when you talked about the children, I have intentionally sent love and positive energy and like praying, and I don't know what else I can do right now because my mental capacity has yet to fully been able to hold the horrific actions that I've taken, mother and child, parent and child. Okay, you don't want people to cross the border, which is a whole nother different conversation too. Like, how can you come and take somebody's land and put up whatever, right. Even what's there is wrong because you just stole. You just keep stealing and stealing and stealing and stealing, and then that is part of the infrastructure that it's okay for you to steal everything.
Yes.
Okay. Or for you to renege on your promises, or that somebody else made that was going in the right direction. Now you're gonna just like, hold on. This was supposed to go forward for everybody's benefit.
Everybody.
Right? But the children, you don't want this to happen, but don't separate the children from their parents. There's no reason under the sun except for pure, absolute evil. Evil. For that part to happen, and then now there is proof discussion about those children then being abused, them not being able to have what they need to grow and develop, and now you have emotionally suffered them for what reason?
Yeah.
While you're Baron and you're Ivana and you're all those are children too that you had that were imported.
Yeah.
They came over
Yeah.
Right.
from other lands, not just they were in their own land and then moved, but they came over and now they have more privilege
Yes.
and opportunity and wealth. And these didn't even have a pot to piss in and weren't safe. And now they're in literal hell. We don't have to die to go to hell. We could create hell right here.
Right
And that's
here.
what they did.
Yes.
For not just that generation, to those children that will survive that, they've created another type of Holocaust, another type of
Yeah.
inhumanity, another type of generational torture. You've created another 400 years of devastation, and those children and those children's children will now experience a different type of PTSD, but it's still PTSD.
Yeah. No. It's
They're not gonna forget that.
yeah.
And those who are old enough, let's say prepubescent, they carry that in their DNA to pass on. They have the seed to plant that. If no one takes care of them while they're navigating out of that,
Yeah.
they
So-
they're planting the seeds for something else.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't, I don't foresee, it's a historically old problem, right? Yeah, I mean, first off, let's say like this, what? Texas and California don't even belong to us, really. I mean, we stole all that stuff, so like you said, we stole it. But now we're killing people that basically, that's their land, really. And they're basically just trying to migrate back and they're not even trying to get rich, right? They're trying to survive. Most of the people that come across are migrant farmers. I mean, not migrant farmers, but they exist through a process of remittance, right? Where they come up here and they maybe make a few $100s and they send it back $300-400 of what they make. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, these people aren't rich.
Right.
They're not even obtaining the level of poverty. They're not even reaching the poverty line. They're below the poverty line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
And under the radar.
why are we vilifying? Like, I mean, seriously, and this might be a bad perspective to take, but these are the only people that are going to pick cherries. These are the only people that are going to pick lettuce. These are the only people that are going to pick grapes, and you want to send them back. Like, we don't have a labor class that's going to work at that price. So even if I'm saying like this, if you love capitalism, then you should love cheap labor, and you shouldn't be wanting to stop the border.
So there's something else too.
So
Much
yeah,
more.
and I would
And
say
so
like
the conversation
outside of
is great.
genocide, what else are y'all?
Because I mean, this is basically slave labor that you're refusing, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, if somebody's working for about $20 a day, like, this is back-breaking labor. This is not, an easy walk in the park day, Nah.
sense by the field.
Yeah. Like,
I was gonna say that I've been thinking a lot about the mechanisms for emotional numbness or that hollowness, right? And also with anger and depression, where like, because there's a distinction. I know conservative people, and that's really what informed me about sciences, because it's kind of a conservative discipline, right? Like you're looking at the control and you're trying to find out what's actually happening. And I had some classmates who were conservative, or still are, but there's a big difference between someone who's conservative versus insecure.
Right.
And the people who are like very vitriolic, alt-right type, that's like off the rocker insecure typically. like there's this kind of thing where they're projecting anger beyond skepticism about, like, you know, let's make sure that the policy is effective. Does that make sense? Like, there are some people who...
Well, when you say the word insecure, it just makes me laugh because, okay, what is racism?
Ego-wise. Yeah, it's the same
racism?
thing. Right?
Okay, let me go even deeper. What is white supremacy? White supremacy is if insecure is like attack, like white supremacy would be like the sledgehammer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is white supremacy is all about insecurity.
Right.
It's rooted in insecurity.
That's what I was getting at.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying that, okay, well, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying that, you know, insecure is just not the word. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we basically talking about white supremacy. When we started talking about Donald Trump, and then you start talking about some of the policies that exist, they only exist to serve white supremacy as a whole.
I hear you on that. What I'm looking at is, like, fundamentally the process or the mechanisms behind it as well. Where, like, at the very smallest scale, or at the largest, right? Like, that is going to be a thing that all of the